Little box will pop up on your screen. You got to click got it. It says got it. It should clear out of your way. And then I'm going to mute everybody as well here. Remember, you can absolutely, if you have a question of any kind, you can unmute and ask or whatever. And Gail, it looks like your screen is turned off. If you want to turn it on, the bottom left corner of your laptop, if you're on a laptop, or top right on an iPad, start video will allow you to show your video. So you're welcome to do that, or keep it off if you are in your pajamas or something and you don't want to be seen. Okay, so as I said, chairs on either side, backs of chairs facing in. This is like our parallel bars for safety. And then we're sitting in a chair, a third chair, at the front edge, so that what we're practicing is getting our central upright. This, think of it just as your middle line that's going vertically through you, connecting down through your two buttock bones, which when we stand up is the two legs. But here in our seat, we're feeling those two buttock bones. We can even rock a little bit back and forth. Just find those. Find the fact that you got one on the left, one on the right. And then center yourself between those two. And then the other bit here is, especially if your posture has been, suffering over time, and you have this sort of slouch with the head up like this, and maybe you don't know if you do or not, but what we do joint mobilization wise is in order to help that. But I'm just showing something here, exaggerating bad posture. What we'll want to do is tilt, roll the pelvis forward somewhat, and that will help us get a little more alignment. And then there's a little bit of chin down rather than chin up, chin down a little bit to get this crown of head reaching up. So we've got central line, we're aligned with the chair and our buttock bones. And so the three main principles we're trying to master: Zhong, or central upright; Chun, which means soften into stability, soften and sink into stability. So when I say the words soften and sink, very likely what happens is some sort of slouching, some loss of Zhong. So that's why Zhong is first, and then you work on softening and relaxing in a way that you don't lose your Zhong upright, but you allow for this settling. Again, a good visual is a cup of water with sediment and dirt in it. If you let it over time, that sediment naturally settles down, and collects at the bottom. So that is a metaphor for how we best keep our balance. Many times what people do to try to stay balanced is grab on with muscular tension, and they get the hands ready and say, oh, I got to be ready in case I fall. But all this tension does is bring our center or our root up, and so then we're top heavy. So Zhong, Chun, softening, releasing down through the chair, through to the floor, and they even say 3 feet under the floor. So whether that is actually possible or not, it's at least valuable to think. Let your weightedness, your rootedness go 3 feet under you to the floor. So don't hold it in your body, even in your legs or feet. Let it go through. And then the third bit is Qing Ling, which means light, nimble, movable. So the idea is we have our upright and then we let our body weight connect down to the earth. The body then has this nimbleness and movability rather than stiffness. And then we're sort of doing the penguin walk around the world, right? So find those three things here just for 5 breaths. In the nose. Hold the breath for a little bit. Out the nose or the mouth. Each inhale, think about gathering, harvesting, harnessing, bringing in. Each exhale, think about releasing, softening, melting, and settling. Oh, Alicia, thank you. No problem. Each breath in, you're expanding. Feel it's a sort of a stretching you open from the inside and expanding. And then with every exhale, there gets to be this releasing, sloughing off, melting out of you, draining out of you, connecting you down. But don't lose your Zhong Zheng. A lot of times when people are doing breath practice, I see on the inhale, they get this upright posture. And then when they exhale, they slouch and lose that posture. So when you're doing your breathing practice at home, which I highly recommend multiple times a day for short durations, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Think about it in terms of your center line doesn't change, but all around the center expands and gently compresses, fills and gently releases. But yet there's a constant state of sturdy, upright, but it's not something you're holding on to. It's something you're allowing to be present. Last 2 breaths, make them good ones. So now the body is holding on to tension in a subconscious and unconscious way. So that's where this next series helps, this joint mobilization. Slide your hands back, pull your elbows back, shoulder blades back, lift your chest, lift your chin, gently arch. Slide your hands forward till your arms straighten. Draw your chest back. Hollow the chest and drop your head, look down, look down. So now we're rounding the back and just look at my chest here. My chest was forward, now it's back. So hollow that chest out. And then forward with the chest as you pull the elbows back, shoulder blades back, look up. And then hands forward, round the back. And let's continue with that a few more rounds. The goal here is to move and change the position of every moving part. So there's a range of motion all 24 vertebrae are built to make, and we need to go to the healthy edges of that range of motion rather than be stuck somewhere in the middle. And the Taoists learned, these are the ancient Chinese sort of mystic folk, they noticed early on that as people age, that's what really starts to happen is they lose this pliability, mobility, range of motion. And so then all these practices were developed to battle that, to keep this youthful movability even into your hundreds. That's their goal. That was their North Star. And so it's a wonderful goal to have and very valid to practice. Now come back to middle. So that was forward and back movement. Now rotational movement. Left hand forward past the knee, right hand draw back with the elbow. Turn your chest, shoulders, and head to the right. Rotation. Now switch all the way over to the other side. Left hand coming back, right hand going forward, turning, look over the shoulder. And then turn and change all the way back across. And just notice the opportunity here to experience the paradoxical ideas of mobility, complete freedom of movement, and absolute stability, or you might think stillness. So even though there's all this movement, if we're relaxed, then there's an underlying quality of stability and stillness where we're not really rocking our boat that it's about to fall over, right? So that's again what we're cultivating here in our movements, is to find the underlying center, the underlying middle, and eventually have that middle just be the place that we reside, and the rest of it is freedom of movement. Coming back to middle. So that was in the rotational plane. Arms now, hang them alongside you. Shift the weight a little bit over to your right buttock and lean the body. Let the head lean. Now, left wrist, just float it up. And notice I didn't swing it way out here. I drew it up this little unique path, just right in close, and just kind of spill. And then notice, can your right foot become empty and sort of floating off the floor? And now let's change. So now we go over to the other buttock. That left arm goes down, the right wrist comes up, the right foot is now empty, and we still have our middle. And change. So we're looking for complete freedom. Now, I use the term flirt with the edge. Find your edge. Of course, please don't fall out of your chair, but go to this place where you're kind of right at that edge, but yet you retain your center. So another important bit about safety in movement and how do we retain our balance. Our balance isn't a position, it's an ability to adapt. So we want to be able to go to our edges and yet still remain relaxed, soft, centered, right? That's going to save your life. I think Alicia was talking about it last week, or one of these days. She was saying how since she was practicing, she's starting to find sort of a slow motion experience of I'm almost falling, but I'm kind of able to catch myself rather than so stiff that it's all or nothing. I'm either upright or I'm crashing to the ground, right? And so that's the idea, is as we soften, we start to buy ourselves time to respond, to react. Now, sitting upright, we lift our shoulders up. So now the rib cage does not move, but the shoulder blades slide up. That's called elevation. The arms are drawn along for the ride, but they're relaxed, they're loose. Melt your shoulders down and let them totally drop. So you feel this spacious quality around the neck and shoulders. Again, shrug way up. Think of this like you're squeezing a sponge or wringing out a rag. You're squishing the tissue so that the tissue can melt and be more soft, supple, and relaxed. Let's do that twice more. The Taoist Chinese medicine Tai Chi Qigong viewpoint has some unique concepts, one of which is what we're doing here, song, meaning soft, supple, pliable, resilient, movable, yet very strong. And so that's what we're trying to turn our whole body into. So as you're shrugging, you're getting this tight musculature, you're squishing it only to then let it melt, relax, and be more free and song. Now, shoulders forward, up. They stay up as they go back, squish behind you, and then slide those shoulder blades down and find neutral, totally relaxed. From neutral, forward, up, back, down. Do this 3 more times or so. Same idea. We're going through the range of motion, taking muscles that can become chronically stuck, tight, glued, rigid, and we're encouraging them round by round in this direction of song. Soft, supple, pliable, movable, responsive, reactive, adaptable. One more. And reverse. Another reason these movements are so important is because our upper body, think of the body is divided in two from upper to lower. And in one sense, it's above the diaphragm. So diaphragm up. This area tends to be where we hold and cling and grip. You know the whole saying, hold the world on your shoulders, that kind of idea. We tend to do that for various reasons. But the point is, we want to empty out what we're holding in this upper chamber, this upper level, last one, so that we can be lighter, more nimble up top, and more settled and stable down below. Now, from here, bend your elbows, hands come up close to your shoulders, elbows out and all the way up. And just take them up here and just hold. See if you can feel a sort of spacious quality in the armpit, the chest, the shoulder blade. Feel this open space, and eventually you can kind of do this little chicken wing free movement, right? That's what we're looking for, is this freedom in our chest, shoulder, upper back, and then drop those elbows down. Bring the elbows around in front and squeeze them together. Feel how the act of squeezing the front close opens your back. You want that back open for business. Elbows come down. Do it one more time. Out and up. Lift, and just, you can kind of lean a little, tilt a little, open up that space. Empty out what's stuck up there. And then bring the elbows down, wrap around in front and squeeze. Put some effort into that squeeze. Try to get those elbows to touch if possible. Then elbows straight back behind you. Squeeze all the muscles, the upper arm, back, shoulder blades. Squishy, squishy. Close that off a little bit. And then relax that. Drop the elbows down. Point the elbows forward. This may be as far as you can go. Some of you might be able to go where I'm going here. Elbows point up, hands go down your back a little bit. So again, we're just cleaning things out, cleaning out stagnation. Elbows forward, down, back. We're wringing out the rag. We're squishing the sponge. And down, forward, up. And then down. Last one in this little set. Hands face the floor. One hand above, one hand below. The below hand goes under the elbow, under the armpit, and hug your body. Crawl your fingers around your torso and try to squeeze the front close. Then release the hands. Let the elbows just float out to the side. Feel that almost like filling up these chambers with fluid. Just feel this open, buoyant feeling. And then again, other hand below, wrap and crawl those hands. Give a nice squeeze. So we're kind of squeezing the sponge, squishing out the stagnant fluid, and then we're letting it all refill. Open. Just feel that buoyancy. Let's do it once more in each position. Close. According to the Taoist view of the body, the back of the body, we don't want to close it. So when we open here, we're not thinking jamming it back. We're keeping the back open, but we're opening the front. And then the front can close and open. The way the body's built, the playground, the space that we get most of our movement is in front of the body. And we keep the back open. And then let your arms come down. Shake them out a little bit. All right, scoot back in your chair so you feel very stable. Bring your right knee up. Push that leg straight forward. Bring the knee back up. Set it down. This leg. Load. Unload. Reload. Back. So remember, a healthy body is a transforming body. All the way into this compressed position. All the way to the fully straightened position, not stuck anywhere along the way. All the way back to the compressed position and down. All the way each. So one of the things I notice is common between, I work a lot with Parkinson's people, but I also work with just people. And this same issue happens just with aging, that our range of movement shrinks. So we want to keep that playground open. That's what we're doing here. Straighten your right leg. Point the foot, make sure you get all the way to pointed, and then all the way to flex. Again, pointing, flexing, pointing, flexing. So again, sometimes I'm working with folks and I say point, and they just are here and here and here and here. And the movement range is shrunk down so much. This hurts your ability to walk and move and stay balanced. So open up that range and then open up its opposite. And open it again, open it again. Now, invert, the foot tilts in, foot tilts out. It's a small movement, but you need to make sure you're doing the whole movement. So it's just this little tilt to the foot. Then circle, in, point, out, flex. Round, whole, complete movements. Clean out the playground, right? Reverse, go the other way. Circle. And back to middle. Straighten this leg, point and flex. Cleaning up. And again, ideally, and this is how I live, I'm doing things like this every day, maybe multiple times a day if I can find the time. Go ahead and tilt in and out, because I want to keep the residue, the debris, the stagnation, the clinging, gluing quality of the body. I want to keep it at bay. Go ahead and circle. And if you do it regularly, you start to create a state of flow that keeps itself clean throughout your day. Keeps itself open. Go ahead and switch, circle the other way. But you build a sort of momentum by practicing every morning or every evening, or some sort of practice that becomes regular, that your system can count on. All right, scoot forward, step your feet a little wider than hip distance. Lift your toes up, turn on the heels, point your toes in and your knees in. Feel this closed position in your groin. So we're closing here. And then open, feel this open quality in what they call the quad, but really it's our inguinal region, our groin area. Close, open. Few more. What you really want to feel here over time is that your pelvis and your spine are unbothered, undisturbed, while these legs are going through this pretty large range of motion. So over time, there's a freedom, spaciousness between the hips and the legs, right? Rather than a grip and a hold, which is what a lot of people are dealing with. Now, the sort of opposite of that, legs stay still, pelvis folds forward, hinging forward, sitting back upright, and leaning back to whatever amount of room you have to lean back. Just explore a little bit back, and then sitting upright, and again, folding forward. So important thing here is just notice that your pelvis can move, and it's a pretty simple movement in general, and it moves your entire torso, changes where your torso is in space, and you don't have to do any spinal rounding or arching. You're just moving pelvis at the leg bone connection, so the hip joint. Now we're back to vertical. Now that exact movement plus released, relaxed shoulder. So get rid of that tension. You've done a lot of things. We did the circles, we did these movements, right? We did all these things to empty out this space. So keep that soft, empty feeling. And now I'm turning sideways so you can see I move my feet back a little bit. So my feet are not out here, they're back here. Just a nice, easy fold. Let the arms be loose. Then pour your body weight through your legs to the earth. And here we go, standing all the way up. Remember the visual of the sediment in the cup of water going down, not being held here. So keep that sediment in the ground as you fold at the hips, sit the butt. Notice arms and shoulders out in front, head out in front, butt back. This is my middle. Landing, and then I'm sitting back. Now, feet are empty. I'm using my chair to get to the grounded quality, but now I'm changing that. I'm pouring out of the chair, through the legs, through the feet, and now my legs are my root or my connection to being grounded. Butt goes back, same. So when people say stand up, really what they should say is stand forward and up, because that's the experience of it. We have to go forward before we can easily go up. And if we forget to do that, which most people do, then they have a tough time, and then they got to push on something or pull on something or force something. Same thing here. We got to lean forward, sink, and land. And again, pour yourself through the legs. Now, don't sit in the chair, but essentially sit in the chair, but don't. So get really low and see, can you touch your toes? Could you get near the floor? Pick something up if you had to, and then come back up to standing. So this is a super valuable movement, this hips back, sinking. And it also opens the lumbar and sacrum, and it's healthy for the spine. It kind of bows the spine like an archer's bow in a way that our back really needs. Because a lot of times we're standing and we're sort of holding our back. When we sink like this, we're opening all these spaces for the nerves to flow. All righty, so now we're standing. Make your way closer to the right side chair. So it's there if you need it, but try not to overuse it. A lot of times people are leaning on it, grabbing onto it with white knuckles, you know. So it's there in case, but especially for this first level of the exercise, try not to use it. So we're standing, we're using both legs. Now just let your body weight go over to one leg more, and then go over to the other leg more. So if I had a bunch of tension in my upper body, what I tend to see is people won't move from here, but they'll do something like this. They're trying to get from leg to leg, but really you see, I'm not actually making any of that change happen, versus empty and relaxed, moving from the middle, which is the belly area. You just change over here, and I keep my Zhong-Zheng. And then I go over here and keep my Zhong-Zheng, or central upright. Now, Zhong-Zheng intact, think Chun-Wang, or soften, relax through the leg to find stability down there. And maybe you even feel some emptiness in this right foot. Change again. So Zhong-Zheng, Chun-Wang, and now the empty Qing-Ling. Lift the heel of your other foot, Bai Li Shi. And then land that heel down without any weight in it. Change. So the body weight goes down through the left. The Qing-Ling, the emptiness, allows this movement of your standing leg. Down it goes. Shift. So the weight gets through the right leg. The left foot is no longer under use, so you can lift the heel. And you see I'm kind of shaking my leg. I'm moving my foot, but it's not disturbing my balance. Change. Here's my full leg. Here's my empty leg. Now this one is free and loose. Change. Now level 2 of this exercise, you may want a hand touching the chair. You change the weight, get to the tippy toe, and then try to disconnect the foot from the floor, and then place the foot back down without any weight. Change. Once this is full, this is empty. Get to the tippy toe, disconnect, reconnect, change. Keep Zhong-Zheng intact. little lift, lower, shift. Once this is full, this is empty. Lift, lower, shift. And we break these into 3 levels for the most part. This is level 2, where we're just lifting off the ground a teensy bit. Now we want level 3, where again, use the chair as needed. You try to get this knee as high as it should and can go. And feel this sturdiness here. Feel your jong-jung. Feel that chun-won. Now, this leg comes down. We chain. We don't try to yank this leg off the ground. We wait until it is empty, and then we float it. Floats up because it's empty. We float it down without any weight. So a lot of times people get in trouble. They fall into the leg when it goes down. So also pay attention to this landing. Then feel how the change of weight is an internal experience. There's a mechanism in the belly, the back, and hips where that change happens. Then it's free to move, change. Make that distinction between full and empty, and then it's free to move, change. Couple more. Lift, lower, change. Jong-jung, central upright. Not gripped, relax. Find it through relaxing. And especially with Parkinson's, right? The nervous system is very reactive. It can be sort of agitated easily and throw things off. So you have to sort of master this relaxed state, easy state, right? Everything just as soft as can be. Now, next exercise. Empty your right foot. This is my left, your right. So I'll be your mirror. Take your right foot and put it in front of you with the heel touching the ground, no body weight. So notice I'm not way out here with a big step. It's just comfortable distance, just a little bit in front. Now, change the weight into that front leg and get to the tippy toe of your back foot. And then change the weight into your back leg, get to the tippy heel of your front foot. And then change. Now, what we see here that's very important is the primary direction is down. So even though I'm going backwards into my back leg, don't think backwards or forwards here. Think chun-won, down through to the earth, and this foot gets free. And even when you go backwards, think down through to the earth, and then this foot's free. So it's always down. That's the primary direction. That doesn't mean other directions aren't happening, right? Because right now we're moving forward in space, but if we think about forward, we're going to take ourselves off balance. So think down, and then down. Now, level 2, keep the down quality, straight leg lift, this right leg off the floor. So this tests you. How truly, completely using of this leg are you? Full. Put the heel down, change. And then we do the little flamingo lift. Bend that knee so that the leg just comes here. Put the toe back down and then shift back. From the hip, straight leg lift, lower, shift. And I often use the term the teacup. Think of the teacup sitting on your head. It should be, could be undisturbed. So when I lift this leg, I've still got my central upright intact. I change the weight down. When I lift this other foot, central upright intact. Teacup undisturbed. Lift, lower, shift. So this connection to the earth is really what we're practicing. Never lose it. Right? Level 3, same thing. The freedom of this leg, we just challenge it a little more. Bring the knee up. Lower that heel softly. Change. Go through that right leg. Now, once this back leg is empty, then it is free to move forward and up, like you're going to step up on a really high stair. Reach the toe back, find the floor, change the weight back. So again, the down is primary. That allows for the safe up. Down the foot goes. The down is primary. That allows for the safe lifting and the safe reaching back. I'm still down through this leg. Down allows for up. Down. Change. Up. Back. Change. And just keep the idea of relaxing into stability. So you got your upright, and then you're just thinking, I'm going to learn to rely on softness, to rely on relaxing as my mode of support. Last one here. So it's a lot of it is an unlearning. It's taking the habits of action, tension, and softening them. So it takes a little time, but eventually it really does work. So let's move over here to the other side, and let's do the same little set of exercises for the other side. Body weight through your right leg. Left foot should be empty. Put your left foot a little bit out in front. Remember, not too far, just a comfortable distance. And then you change your weight. Primary direction down. Get to the tippy toe. You can even do this little waggle of the foot to test yourself. Then primary direction down. This little waggle of the leg and foot. Change. Teacup intact, relying on softness as a mode of transportation. I'm softening into movement, relaxing into movement. In a way, falling. I'm falling through the body to the earth. Falling through. A precise fall. Release. Yielding. Everything can settle. Nerves can stay settled. Level 2, you may want hand on chair. That's what it's there for. We lift, lower, shift, back leg, bend the knee, little flamingo lift, toe back to the floor, and then through that right leg. Left leg empty, can lift, lower, and shift. Flamingo, down, shift. Straight leg, down, shift. Bend the knee, toe down, shift. Just keeping this easy quality. That's your main challenge, is to undo, to relax, to dissolve the extraneous activity. It's not easy. It sounds easy, but it really is not. Level 3, staying relaxed. Empty leg, up, down, still empty, and then I change. Now, once I've made that change, then it's forward and up. Toe back, still no body weight. Don't fall back into that foot. Then change. Up, down, change. And the good news is also, we're slowing everything down. Tai Chi is known for its slow movement. And you might think that that then condemns you to slow movement for the rest of your life, but it doesn't. It eventually opens the pathways for swift movement, right? But first we have to find these distinctions, and then you can shoo, ba, change, sha, ha, right? You see how the speed at which I can lift and lower is based on this ability to float, float. Same thing here. I can go forward, I can go back. Nothing was disturbed. That was fast movement, but it was precise. It didn't disturb, wasn't extraneous. It was just shoo, shoo, ah, right? So Tai Chi leads us to efficient and fast movement over time, but we got to slow it down and pull it apart and learn the components, learn this mechanism, this vehicle. All righty. Now, move over to the right side again. Empty the right foot again. Put the right foot in front again. Now, change the weight, just like we did a moment ago. Now your left foot is empty. Keep it empty and step it in front. Step it behind. Notice I am not putting weight in my left, this is my right, your left foot. So I'm stepping it and stepping it and stepping it and stepping it, stepping. I'm moving pretty fast because it's empty still. And I'm stable here. Now, the next time it's forward, keep it forward. Change your weight into this leg now. And this one's empty. Now we take one step back. So we're going to flow the exercise. Change the weight to the right leg. Once the left foot's empty, you can step back. No body weight. Change back. This is empty. So now it's change, step empty, change. Primary direction is down, step, down. And again, down. It's the down that lets you free to step. Down that lets you free to step. Down, down. Casual. Let this be just so easy where you're just kind of easing on down the road. Just walking forward, backward. Now level 2, hand on chair as needed. Right leg, lift, lower, shift. Now as soon as this left foot is empty, step it up over an imaginary obstacle. Place it down empty. Change your weight. Then flamingo, back leg. So now we're adding this test of change. How balanced are you? Can you lift the foot and reach it back and not break this feeling of stillness, steadiness? Lift, lower, shift, stepping over, shift. So just recall at the beginning of class when we were sitting at the chair, sitting on the chair, we had our upright quality, we were just sitting. You want to have that exact sensation, or over time, that's what you get, is that internally, you're just floating. So on the internal level, there is this meditation posture floating, and then this freedom of movement on the outside, but you're undisturbed on the inside. And it's not achieved through action and tension. It's achieved through releasing, relaxing, softening, melting, allowing. Level 3, knee up, use the chair as needed, down with that foot. Now exaggerate, heel to butt, knee to chest, foot out, lower the leg, everything bounce, change. Back knee comes forward and up. Reach back, shift back. Now, left knee up, tuck, reach, shift back. Right knee up, right foot down, shift. Keep that floating quality at the internal chassis. Just meditate. Just meditate. Stillness, ease, relaxation, release. So the power of softening out the extraneous activity and then training this movement that's not yanking and pulling, but floating, floating. Let's switch sides. So bring the feet together. Step. Come over to this side. Level 1. Left foot empty. Put it in front. Shift. Now let's just repeat this little bit here. So the right foot just goes forward, back, forward, back. So again, the power of the moving foot is its emptiness. Is the fact that it's just relaxed. And then go forward. But by forward, of course, what I really mean is down and down. Down, step empty, down, down. And important to note, this is the most like regular walking. I'm not doing anything crazy with this foot. I'm actually just kind of letting it float forward. It kind of kicks forward. This is how we normally walk, right? We don't pick our feet up and do all this crazy stuff. We just cruise around, which is great. We should have this easy walk. And back. Level 2, so hand on chair as needed. Lift, lower, shift. Now testing yourself. Can you step over an obstacle and retain your balance and then shift? And then this back leg, flamingo, down. This is a test. It's to say, did I really get full empty? And then did I once again get the change of full empty? Here's the test. And then change. Did I get it? Test. Change. Did I get it? Test. So outer body is doing all this changing. Inner chassis is unchanging. Just relax. And it's a wonderful feeling when you get it, because you feel free to move and yet stable, still. Level 3, up, down, change. Exaggerated bicycle step, chain. Knee up, toe back, chain. Up, tuck, reach, chain. Zoop, zoop, chain. Exaggerated. Feeling steadiness, stability, as well as complete mobility. That is what Tai Chi leads us to. It's a fantastic state to be in. All righty, and Shogun, wings, turn palms up, roll, hands come over top, a sort of gathering gesture, and then this settling down right at belly button height. And in front of the belly button, turn your palms to face in. This is called middle embrace. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed, elbows relaxed, wrists, fingers, everything is at ease rather than doing. Just let it be, right? Knees are soft, hips and groin area relaxed, and your body is liquid. So there's this hydraulic integrity, liquid integrity. And arms cross a little and come down. Now just stay where you're at while I adjust something here. So now I'm matching you guys. We're all facing this way. Move to the left side of your space. And then turn and face across. Now you've got your chairs on the left side of you, should be able to keep you safe. Empty your left foot, put it in front. Let's do level 1, 5 steps or so forward. Shift, step empty. Shift, step empty. Shift, step empty. Remember where the primary direction is. Down. So how did we just get, 3, 4, 5 feet across the room, and all we were thinking of was down, step, down. So if you stay attending to down, 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 you stay connected, rooted, and we're moving around space. Let's do it again. Level 1, just easy, casual walk, but pay attention to down, down, down. And then when you go backwards, make sure you're nice and safe. Down, down, down. Stepping an empty foot rather than falling into it, right? Okay, level 2. Each step, there's a little obstacle, a little tripwire. You have to step up and over. So this really tests. Remember, down allows for the up, because the up is a float. Ching Ling, floating, light and nimble. Not a pulling up, which is an uprooting. More of a down creates the up. Down creates the up, like a scale, right? Putting the weight on one side of a scale floats the other side of that scale. And that's how our body is built. That's a metaphor for what's happening. We have a middle pivot, and we're going weight on one side, freeze the other, weight on that side, freeze the other. And level 2 or level 3, if you're feeling nice and steady, you can exaggerate this movement of that free leg without disturbing your meditation posture. Keeping the down as primary, If you lose the down, you are then rolling the dice and hoping you don't fall. But if you keep the down, you're securing that you won't fall. Now, turn and face forward. Change your weight to your left leg. Side step, out and back in. Out, in. And notice the difference between this and this, right? This is me letting the leg pull my body weight. This is me staying here, knees a little bent, I've sunk to the earth, and I'm free to move. This leg is free. This hip is open, right? To go close, open, close, open. Now, step it out, leave it there, change, keep this foot glued to the ground, but now this is full, change back. This is full, this is empty. Change again. But remember, down, down. And it's not a push, it's a opening and melting. And like I said, eventually it's like falling to the earth. Falling to the earth through the joints and tissue and fluid. Falling to the earth. Now stay in your right leg, left foot in. Out. In. Very important when you step out, you don't want to turn the leg and point the toe. A lot of times this is what people do. You want to keep the leg neutral and get the heel to the ground because that forces this groin area and the hip to open. So sideways step, open the quad, close the quad. Open, close. Open, close. Now, bring the feet together, touching if you can. Now you really have to find down. So now this leg is free. And then down. This leg is free. Down. So now this really gets this internal mechanism. Down. This is free. Down. This is free. Down. And I still got my teacup doing just fine. Now we're going to do side steps. Right foot empty. Step sideways. Heel on the ground, like I said. And then change. Full, empty. Now this being empty, steps in, but don't put the weight into it right away. Ideally, it's floating still. And then I change. Now this is full, this is empty, so the empty foot can step. Change. Once this is empty, but it doesn't take the weight yet. Change, step. Change, step. Change. I'm still connected to the earth. Still connected to the earth. Let's go back the other way. Out. Connected to the earth. In. Connected to the earth. Out. So this one teaches us a lot of important little skills, but one of the best ones is realizing we don't come up and then down again to get from leg to leg. We actually go under the ground. So it's underground change. Underground. So we're always connected to the earth. This really helps us find I can move around space and never be pulled up like a carrot being pulled out of the earth. All the time staying rooted, a root vegetable. Rooted. Let's go there and back again. And I'm just going to add, just to give you a taste of what a more complicated Tai Chi move would be. This is called Hands Play with Clouds. You could just mimic it if you'd like. Just mimic what you see. I'm not going to go into the detail. But notice the leg work, the waist down, is the same. Change, step, change, right? So that's the same. And all that's being added is a turn with a hand motion. Turn with a hand motion. But is this uprooting me? No. Is it throwing off my central equilibrium? No. But a lot of times when we add this movement, all of a sudden we lose track of our central equilibrium. We start pulling up out of our root. We start actively tensing our shoulders. So be very loose, very free, very empty in the upper body, and feel how that creates this freedom of movement. Let's do that one more time. So changing the weight, turning the waist, sweeping the arms across. And so on Friday's class, we work on a lot of the upper body Tai Chi, the different choreography. This is just one of many moves. And we do it without the complexity of the steps usually. But then over time, what we're doing is adding it together to create a whole organism experience. And then a Tai Chi form, which is very, often tough for folks to learn because it's one move into another move, into a different move, into a fourth different move, into a fifth, sequenced together. And so then people end up going, I can't remember that. So that's why Tai Chi has been hard for our culture to really absorb. But what we're doing is finding how to use it like a tool to create the desired effect. And shogun, wings, roll, fold up and over top, settling, settling, settling down to our middle. Now make sure you're somewhere where you feel like you've got the safety of your chairs. And then we're just going to take our hands to our hips and push the hips forward. Turn sideways, hips forward, and let the empty upper body just kind of lean back a little. Don't do it to the point where you're jamming your back, but just keep that freedom. And then come back and stick your butt back and let the upper body lean forward a bit. And then forward and back. So this helps to decompress. From the walking work, sometimes we can feel the hips and the lower back and the midsection get congested. So here's the forward and back direction. Now come back to middle, and let's go push the hips a little to your right, and let this upper body fall to the left. Now, what a lot of times happens is people don't move their hips, and they just move the upper body like this. Make sure that you're actually pushing your hips over to the right and letting this empty quality fall a little to the left. Then come back through middle with the hips. So the hips are the driver. So push your hips to your left. Your weight should be in your left leg here. Left leg, left leg. Yeah, there you go. So push them to the left and then push the hips to the right. The weight naturally goes over here and push to the left. So we're finding freedom of movement and a looseness in the upper body. So the driver is here. Now we make a circle combining those four things. So we basically just did a cross. Now hips forward. From the forward position, push your hips over to your left position. Then push them back. Then over to the right position. And then to the forward position. Around. So the hips are the driver. The upper body just kind of leans and tilts in response to what your hips are doing. So allow that freedom. So it's not only what we are doing in the middle, but it's what we're not doing in the upper. That is really important. One more time around. And reverse. Around. And around. So this also, again, it's just kind of a clearing out of whatever compression, congestion, agitation in the hips, groin, lower back. We're just kind of steering it out. And you can notice this eventually helps us find where we come back middle. So by clearing the space, we can more easily find middle. Find a little self-massage. Hands together, rub. Then rub the back of one hand. Then rub the palms again. Rub the back of the other hand, and then the palms. And then place your hands on your quad, the inguinal crease. So hands on the quad, up and down. So we're decompressing, decongesting groin, pubic, inguinal, right where the legs and this genital area and pubic area meet. Then go around the hips to your sacrum and tailbone and sort of the butt crack area, right? And then come up from there onto your lower lumbar, upper lumbar. And then we clear. So like we did our squat, remember we sat the butt, the hands go down the outside, around the inside, up the inside, past the groin to the navel, which is our middle. Then we do it again. Groin, inguinal. When I say the word qua, that's what I mean, is this whole space here. Then go hip flexors, front of the upper legs and hips. Then sacrum and tailbone up onto your lower back. And then we clear. We sit like a squat, scoot down the outside of the legs, come up the inside of the legs to the navel. And then once more, qua. Hip flexors. Sacrum. Lumbar area also known as the gait of life, Ming Men. And then sweep and sweep. And then just the final reset, up the outer arm over the shoulder, turn that palm up and come down the inner arm. Turn that palm down, do that a few times. Up the outer, down. Yang channels, yin channels. Yang, yin, yang, yin, yang, yin, and then other side. Yang, yin. And final shogun or closing gesture. Over the top, settle, 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 and final closing, sealing. Here's the belly button, hand over that belly button, other hand stacks on top. 3 breaths. And Taoist bow, grab, fold. Thank you, everybody. Well done. If find a comfortable seat. And if there are thoughts, epiphanies, questions of any kind, please unmute yourself and we can discuss that.